So in this lesson, we're going to talk about metallic bonding. So we've already looked at ionic bonding, which is between a nonmetal and a metal. We've looked at covalent bonding, which is between two nonmetals. So now we're going to look at what happens when metals bond with each other. Okay. So here's a picture of metallic bonds. So we have our metals, and then we have, as the electrons leave, they're causing different charges. But you can see the electrons are moving through, and they're not really attaching to any one particular um, atom. So metallic bonds allow electrons to move through a substance with little restriction. This model is often described as metal ions plus a sea of mobile electrons, because they're just kind of moving in and out. Metal holds onto their valence electrons very weakly. They're like, please take them. And because of this, the electrons are said to be delocalized, which means they don't really have a home. There's no local uh, site for them to go to. They're just kind of moving. These delocalized electrons, because they're not held by a specific atom, they move easily throughout the solid. Metals will release their valence electrons, and they'll share them all together. That bond produces this, the bond that's produced from this is the metallic bond. So some properties. Metals are great electrical and thermal conductors, due to the fact that the electrons are moving freely. Think about it. It's why we don't put forks into sockets, because they're metal. It's why your pans get hot as you're cooking. They're just really great at like conducting heat and electricity. Metals generally have extremely high melting points and boiling points. It's why your pots and pans don't burn or your melt on the stove, because it's really hard to pull these atoms apart, because the electrons are kind of keeping them together. They're malleable, which means you can hammer them into sheets and bend them. They're also ductile, which means you can draw them into a wire, because of the mobility of the particles. So you can take something and make it into a thin wire. It's how we get copper wiring and paper clips and stuff. And they have luster, which means they're shiny. Okay, think about your metals. Okay, like, a quarter in your pocket, it's very shiny. Okay. The thing is, you can make a mixture. Okay, the metallic bond, when you mix metals together, you make something called an alloy. Okay, so a mixture of elements that have metallic properties are called alloys. So the examples I have are brass, which is copper and zinc, or sterling silver, which is silver and copper. So that's all I have for metallic bonds.